Hello, my name is Joshua Dice. Thank you for coming to hear my historical engineering presentation. During this presentation, I will be sharing 6 different engineering feats from the past with you. Let's begin. Machu Picchu is number 1. Machu Picchu is an ancient city, Incan city in Peru, which is in South America. It is 2,430 feet above sea level in the Andes Mountains. It was a religious sanctuary as well as Incan city. It's kind of mysterious because the Incans were at the height of their power when Hernan Cortez, leading the Spanish conquistadors, came to the New World and conquered the entire empire. This is why we didn't know about Machu Picchu until 1911 when explorers went up the Andes and found this. It is located in between the end of the Andes Mountains, the bottom, and the start of the Amazon basin, which is the basin, the giant valley that the Amazon rainforest is inside of. The structures themselves are walls, giant walls, terraces, ramps, and buildings, all made out of stone. There's almost no mortar. In fact, it's almost as if they are Legos, because they're cut out perfectly and put together. There's even curves like you can see on here, and there are big terraces like that. We don't know what they were all used for. I imagine this is some sort of agricultural sort of deal, which is why it is a form of civil engineering, because all those things go into civil engineering, building cities, just like Machu Picchu. My interest for this was because, as I mentioned earlier, it's mysterious, and I want to know more about the Incan legends. Gutenberg's printing press is number 2. Johannes Gutenberg was a goldsmith, and that's interesting because he made something out of wood. In 1455 in Germany, he got a patent for the printing press. Now, the printing press printed books faster before they were all written by hand by monks in cathedrals and stuff. They've got the way it printed faster is he developed movable type so that you could interchange words and so you could print books faster, right? He put ink on this type and pressed it on paper. This is an example of mechanical engineering. Now, this is the type I was talking about. It's backwards because when you print something, you want to have it backwards because you read left to right, not right to left. Otherwise, your words are going to be backwards. It printed books faster with less mistakes, as I mentioned earlier. But the first big thing he printed was the Gutenberg Bible. He was a religious man. It's either in German or Latin. I don't remember. Since he's German, I'm guessing it was German. But that's what made him famous. Gutenberg went from goldsmith to printing press. And the interest I have for this is I like to read. And without Gutenberg, I probably wouldn't read as well. St. Basil's Cathedral is located in Moscow, Russia. This is the 3rd one on the list. It was commissioned by Ivan the Terrible after fighting some wars. Its construction took 6 years to build. It's huge. The construction went from 1554 to 1561. It's named St. Basil after St. Basil, who was a saint that goes by the folk legend. He was called an idiot for God because he did silly things, but it was for Jesus. This is an example of civil and architectural engineering, and it's beautiful. I love this picture. The original architect was blinded. His eyes were poked out after he finished making this, and this is what gives Ivan the Terrible his name. I mean, he's terrible. He poked out the eyes of the architect, so he didn't make anything beautiful for any other countries because he just wanted St. Basil's Cathedral to himself. Now, even cooler, my favorite part is that apparently Tsar Ivan the Terrible inherited the Byzantine Empire's library somehow, and it is supposedly in the archives, the basement of St. Basil's Cathedral. Now, you can see this diagram right here. There are 8 domes in a diamond position, and the 9th one is the middle right here. It's the tallest. It is 65 meters tall, or 215 feet tall. It's bright colored paint, looks beautiful. I love this picture. And it's got red brick, which is also very cool, matches my hair. But apparently it's got a dark interior with narrow hallways, not too many decorations, which is interesting contrasting to the outside. But the interest that made me research this is that I thought this was called the Kremlin. No, actually, it's not. That's the Kremlin. That's St. Basil's Cathedral. In fact, if you look up the Kremlin on Google and go to pictures, it will show pictures of St. Basil's Cathedral. I don't know why. Maybe I'm not the only one who made this mistake. Number 4 is the diesel internal combustion engine created by Rudolf Diesel. Funny name, but Rudolf Diesel was a German inventor. I don't know what's up with all the Germans on this list, but he was a refrigerator engineer, which is silly, maybe a career option for me someday. In 1893, he developed the patent for the diesel engine. Diesel's named after him, obviously, because he used chemicals to figure out how to make the recipe. The engine, why he made the engine is because it was more powerful. It propels boats, trains, and planes. And those need more powerful motors than, say, the Model T engine. There are 3 kinds of diesel that he developed. The light diesel, which burnt too quickly, so he didn't use it. Heavy diesel, which was cost efficient and it worked well, so of course he went with that. But he also experimented with natural diesel, which used vegetable oils and animal fat, which is kind of gross, but it didn't work as well as heavy diesel. This is an example of mechanical and chemical engineering, as I mentioned maybe earlier. And the interest I have for this is, well, you can see it right there. I like big trucks because I'm American, and I'm glad we use heavy diesel instead of vegetable oil diesel because Americans aren't normally vegan. Next, the bicycle, or the Swiftwalker as it was originally called. German inventor Karl von Drais made the original bicycle. It didn't have any pedals, it didn't have any suspension, it had a wooden frame, wooden wheels, and it didn't have any steering, which is crazy. In 1817, the Swiftwalker was patented, and it was the first footless travel vehicle that was propelled by gravity. It was known as the Bone Shaker because of the wooden wheels and absolutely no suspension. You felt every bump in the road, which would rattle your bones. Fast forward a couple years, we come to a man named John Kemp Sterling, who created the safety bike in 1885. With pneumatic tires, steel, a chain, and frontal steering, he created the safety bike. With all this new doodads and gizmos, it weighed a whopping 80 pounds. Thankfully, modern bikes have thinner frames and lighter wheels, so they don't weigh as much and they're more mobile. There are many variations. As you can tell, this is an older bike and these are 2 newer bikes, but there are many variations who cost different prices because they're different materials. My interest for this is because I think bicycles are fascinating, simple machines, and I bike for recreation. So I wanted to learn more about their history. Finally, the touchscreen was invented technically by Eric Arthur Johnson, who made blueprints of it back in 1965, which is way back in time. Later on, 5 years afterwards, the development of resistive touch technology was developed by Dr. Samuel Hirst in 1970. Dr. Samuel Hirst, in the daytime, was a doctor, and then at night he would work on this technology he had heard of, and that's how this technology came to be. Finally, in 2007, the company Apple, like Apple phone, Apple Music, I'm filming off of an Apple phone right now, made the iPhone with multiple touch technology. That's in 2007, a year before I was born, and this stuff spread like wildfire. I mean, think about it. 2007 was when it was like really big. It started getting really big, and now we got touchscreen tablets, iPhones, touchscreen kiosks, car dashboards, and watches. This is electrical engineering, obviously, and my interest for this was it's very high tech concept, And I wanted you to understand the history behind how it came to be, because it seems a lot different from engines or buildings made of stone. And that's all. Thank you for watching. Once again, I'm Joshua Dice, and this was my historical engineering presentation. Thank you for watching.